For us, we like to get the biggest briskets possible. It's just easier to get into the smoker. Home, you might want to take it a little bit lower, maybe 12 pounds as compared to maybe this is about 16 and a half pounds. You want to see on this side, you want to see a nice, nice big piece of fat rolling all the way through. And on the flip side, you want to see it rolled in through all the meat, more fat, more flavor. Second thing, after you get it out of the package, I like to pat it dry just a little bit, keep the blood from spilling everywhere. Then what you want to do is you want to get a nice sharp knife, and you just want to start trimming down. Now right here, in this section right here, you'll feel this big fat clump right here. You want to get most of that out. So you can get your knife down there. You're going to get a little bit of meat in it. That's okay. If you got a grinder, you can use it for burger meat. Get that nice big knuckle of fat out right there. And that's about it on this top side. On the bottom, you got a little bit more trimming to do. You want to get down to about 1 inch to a 1/2 inch of fat. Don't trim it all off. You just don't want it to scorch and burn and have big clumps of fat. What you do want is you want the flavor from the fat. So you can see it's all white right here. This is probably about 2-3 inches thick. And then there's also this this layer of fat, you'll see, kind of feels like rubber. You want all of that off. You want all that skin off. That fat will not cook. It'll just be sinew. You want to get right underneath it, and there's this nice jelly consistency right here. That's the stuff you want. That's almost like butter. Just kind of keep working into it. Again, you can save all that fat for ground beef, throw it in some soups. The hard fat's the good stuff. Right here you want about a 1/2 inch. Get a little bit more off. Basically, you just don't want a huge amount of fat on top of fat. You want it to be able to kind of be even all the way around, so the cooking time's the same for the whole piece of meat. So you just keep on trucking with it. It takes a little bit. Be patient. And just want to make sure you get all this skin off. The last little amount right here. And always check the tail at the end. Sometimes there's a big fat deposit running over like a lip. I always like to get that off. You can see it's about 1.5 inches right there. You don't want that to burn. Okay, so this is when all your options come in. When it's all trimmed up, you're all ready to go. If you're me, you keep it whole. Keep the point with the flat, but nothing wrong if you're at home. There's nothing wrong with taking the flat off. By doing that, you will cut down on your cooking times for the whole brisket, right? Also, you can kind of keep control of the flat burning or getting overcooked. So all you would do is you would just roll your knife down and up. You can kind of see that knife mark right there. Get this big fat piece right here, they call the point. Keep it separate. Take your flat, put it separate. And you're gonna have different cook times on it. But here, we don't do that. We like to keep everything together, go more traditional. Salt and pepper are the base of any good rub. You can actually do just salt and pepper. Here, we use salt and pepper, we use paprika, a little bit of chili, lots of garlic powder, lots of granulated onion, and we got a tiny touch of coriander in there and a tiny touch of cumin in there. You could spice it up if you want, but you don't want to go too crazy with your spices because you do want to taste that smoke. You definitely want to be generous and liberal with the rub. And you literally want to rub it in, get it into all the deposits. You want every inch of it coated. Then you want to flip it around, same exact thing. Be generous with the rub. Basically you can't over season it, because you're gonna rub it down and it's all gonna be evened out, get into the nooks and crannies. And there you go, she's ready to cook. The next step is you get yourself a gigantic smoker like this for your house. You know, at home you're probably gonna have a barrel smoker, or you're gonna have a little cabinet smoker, which are all great. But you want to get to the temp of about 250 to 300 degrees. We like to keep it around 250 because we do the brisket for about 18 to 20 hours. It lets the smoke penetrate without overcooking it, without undercooking it, and without getting too much smoke into it. Next thing you want to do is, once it's already up to temp, which ours is already up to temp, we've been cooking all day in it. You want to get your, see all this other nice stuff in here. We'll throw it in next to these ribs right here. So we started off, this is the hot side of our smoker. So on the hot side we're about 300, on the cold side we're about 250 degrees, which we'll move it over there a little bit later just to finish it off. We'll put it back in there. And you know, we're gonna pretty much come out every half an hour. We're gonna put some wood in it. At home, you're just gonna maintain that temperature, 250, 300 degrees. If you don't worry, if you go a little too high, just stop putting wood in for a little bit. Not a big deal. Besides that, now it's just time. It's time to wait. So it's been 18 hours. Check this out. I know it's still daylight. It's weird. So as we can see, your brisket should look something like these bad boys right here. You got this nice layer of fat right here. It's kind of hardened up a little bit. You have the crust, which is the most important part. And when you touch it, it should just pull apart really gently, almost shred. And then the most important thing is let it rest for about 30 minutes. You can wrap it in wax paper, wrap it in foil, whatever you want. You can just leave it out in the open air. Once you wrap it up, leave it for about 30 minutes, take it out, and cut it against the grain. Most important thing is to cut it against the grain, because if you don't, all your hard work is gonna go right down the drain, and nobody wants that. Cut it against the grain, it's gonna be as tender as can be. That's it, that's all it takes to cook a brisket.